What's up guys, Azure here. I'm gonna be talking about the Cleric build for Module 29. Starting with my race here, guys, I still use the ASMR for the power and outgoing healing. It helps out the teammates as well with a little bit of HP. You can definitely go for Wood Elf. I feel like Wood Elf with the critical chance is quite good, in the Cleric because I do miss a little bit of critical chance here and there. I have to really get out of my way to get some critical chance out of my gear. You can go with the Dragonborn as well for power and critical chance, and Drow for debuffs. Just remember to check on your friends and see if they have a Drow already and pick the opposite Drow. The free Drow has a debuff, and the Renegade Drow has another type of debuff, so both stack, so that's why you gotta pick the one that you're not playing with, your team is not playing with. For the attributes, I'm using Wisdom for the outgoing healing and Charisma for the Forte, which helps out with the regen. Recharge speed is great as well if you're using some of the powers that have some cooldown, like the Intercession or the Divine Glow. You can go with the Dexterity for critical severity, although you're definitely not going to need critical severity, honestly. Looking at stats, guys, I'm gonna block my debuffs, my buffs here, and guys, it doesn't get better than that. I'm only using Wildstorm Elixir and Watermelon Sorbet. I'm gonna proc it. You can see it. It's only that. There's nothing on. And yeah, our stats gonna get 68 here in power. We still have 5 from the not 5, sorry, 15 from the Raptor, 3.5 from Portobello. We do have 6 for the Boons, so we're gonna get above the cap with the power. Critical strike, we're still gonna get 12 from the helmet, 7.5 from the chest piece, and yeah, that's gonna put us above the 90. Critical severity, same thing, you're gonna get 7.5 from the chest, so we're gonna be capping that as well. And outgoing healing, we're gonna be getting 6 from the shirt. So we're capping the outgoing healing. We're using the Divine Aegis for some additional heals. The weapons also give some additional heals. We're using outgoing the Opal Ring. It also goes above the cap. So yeah, that's the build, guys. We're still running the debuffs, and yeah, we are capping everything with just the Watermelon Sorbet and the Wildstorm Elixir. Well, guys, as you can see, if you've been following my builds and you compare those with the last module, we didn't change a bunch because actually the pieces are not that different from what we had in last module. So I kind of tried to make some changes here in the build to get a little bit more item level because we are getting some really high item level pieces. But yeah, with the headpiece, I started with still using the Pulsar Helm for the critical strike. Again, the Cleric needs a bunch of critical strike, man. I don't know what to tell you. If you're using the debuffs, uh, yeah, I actually struggle to get critical strike. And yeah, this helmet is just really good. It gets 12. You definitely can try to fit the new helm or the old version, like the last module, or this new version from the new dungeon. Same thing. Outgoing he gives 5% outgoing healing, 5% power. Can definitely fit this in. You're gonna have to change some of the consumables. Probably gonna have to use squash too, and you're probably not gonna even cap critical strike because doesn't quite get there. You're probably gonna get 88, 89, something like that. It's fine, but uh, just sticking with the critical strike here because I just need it so much. And yeah, the other option is still viable, but the item level difference is getting big, guys. We do have the 10% critical strike from the Dragon Hunts, although you don't actually get to 10. We do have some similar stuff from the Dragon. Sorry, this is from the Demon Rat Pits. We have similar stuff from the Dragon Hunts. We do have, if you need some regen, you can go for the Helmet from Nemtos, which gives some regen. It does stack with the boots. Although, especially if you use the Divine Glow, I don't think you're gonna need it. But it's an option. You're just gonna have to find a critical chance. if you drop this. And you're probably gonna have to let go of some debuffs or some utility, or some even extra heals that you're using. The easy fix would be, try to drop the Divine Aegis and go for the 10.8 critical chance combat enchantment, the Lightning Flash. So that's an easy fix. If you need some critical strike, it's still a really good enchantment to use. But yeah, Ring Catcher is still good, but again, the item level is getting big, and we gotta upgrade to be able to do the new content. We are really good, really high item level. We are fine for the next module, whatever comes, trial or dungeon. We are 104. It's probably gonna be 100,000 on private, so we're gonna be fine. And if we change a little bit, it can also give it bigger than that, honestly. So I actually changed the breastplate to get some item level, but again, if you feel like it, try to do some different builds, honestly, because otherwise this would be most likely the same thing like we had in the last module, probably. But yeah, this chest piece is still great, guys. Outgoing healing, and it gives 2% critical strike for everybody. Again, the difference here is just the item level. You get 1,000, 1,200 more. So it's getting big, the difference. So we gotta change. Hopefully they make an upgraded version from this, or not. I don't know. Maybe they wanna keep the Demo map pits viable content. I don't know, but it'd be good to have an upgrade. We have stuff from the Moon Dancer as well you could use. I don't really like this buff here. I already told you guys, whenever you take damage, you're not gonna get benefit from this perk here. And in those situations that you need the most of your healings, like the healing check from, I don't know, first boss on MTOS, final stand on Demon Web Pits on the second boss, healing check on the third boss on the Demon Web Pits. You're gonna be taking DOTs, and yeah, you're probably not gonna be healing people from full health, so you're not gonna be benefiting from this perk because your heals, you're gonna uh, snapshot your stats whenever you cast it. So if you're casting your healing word and you're half health, your healing word is not going to get the benefit of the 6% outgoing healing here. It's going to get less than that. It's going to get 3%. So that's why I don't like this perk. But if you don't have anything else, it's fine. We have some stuff on the Dragon Hunts as well. Stuff that gives 12% critical strike. It's an alternative. If you don't have the Moon Dancer helmet, you can just use that and change the helmet above. There's also some old stuff for Dragon Hunts as well that gives outgoing healing, which is kind of similar to what we have in Demon Rapids, but instead of giving critical strike, it gives Forte. So this one is definitely better. We're going with this one for the item level. It gives 7.5 critical strike and 7.5 critical severity. Is just a straight upgrade from the Dragon Hunt's Ribcage. We call it Ribcage, guys, because of the Avernus. We had some this effect is from a chest piece from Avernus, which the name was Ribcage. That's why people call it that way. Arms, we getting the upgrade version from what we had in the last mod. It's not upgrade, it's kind of more like a side grade. We're losing 5% divinity, but it's fine. We're getting some item level. We're getting some 1% extra forte as well. So if you have these old ones, you can still stick with the old ones. Demon Epis is fine. We do have stuff from the Dragon Hunts as well. Give power. It's good for the cleric because we using heal over time, so the stacks are fine on the cleric. It's only 5 stacks, so it's easy to cap it. We even have a stuff here that gives some debuffs, but it's a more rare piece that you get from the Demon Weapons campaign, from those hunts. So yeah, not everyone is gonna have that, and it's just a minor debuff. It's a chance to proc a 2% debuff on awareness on an enemy. So not that big of a deal, but it's there if you want to use it. You have some old stuff from the Moon Dancer as well. It gives divinity as well. If you have those, you're fine as well. For the weapons, I'm using the Void Touch was. We don't need the stats from the perfect weapons. which is 5%, 5% critical strike and 5% critical severity. We don't, and I think the Void Touch in this module, in this dungeon, is better because we already get 5 right away if you're using the weapon, and we can get up to 6% more. And if you compare it to Solarian, we get 6 right away, 12 if in wild space, but we don't get really anything else more. The 5.5 additional heal that you get there and the bonus, it's not, you don't actually get 5.5 most of the time, because the difference in the hit points from you and your target is not gonna be it's not gonna be high enough for you to get the full bonus. And plus, you probably already cast the healing word. So again, the healing word was snapshot on the moment you cast the power. So you're not gonna get the benefit from the 5.5, and that's why I think the Void Touch are better, because we already get 5, and don't worry about the other 6. If you get it, you get it. And yeah, we do have a bunch of ads in those dungeons, this new dungeon, but the DPS will take care of it, and you're gonna get the benefit of the extra stacks right after. For the boots, we're using the new ones. It's not really an upgrade, but again, it's higher item level. We get 3.5 outgoing healing, 1% more from what we had last module, but we lose 5% regen. I personally would prefer to stick with 20% regen, but it is what it is. If you think you need the regen, you can go back to the old ones. Just remember, if you're using wild space outside of wild space, you only get 10. If you're using wild space boots, the ultraviolet, you only get 10. So you might as well go back to the star boots, the star high boots from the Moon Dancer, which it's not that one. It's this one. You might want to go back to these ones to get 20 everywhere. And yeah, you're gonna lose a little bit of outgoing healing, but it's fine, guys. It's fine, because we do have some extra outgoing healing here with the Opal Ring, with the Divine Aegis. So losing 2.5, 3.5 outgoing healing, it's fine. But if you want a quick fix, you could just change the Opal Ring to the Dominance, which gives outgoing healing. But again, not a big deal to lose this 3.5 outgoing healing or 2.5 if you're using those and want to change back to the only divinity. We do have some extras, some other stuff here from other modules, like Demon Web Pits. This gives outgoing healing. Dragon Hunts has some good stuff as well for newer players, giving ratings for like those. But yeah, man, the item level difference is getting big. We gotta change, and it's easy to get. Even the advanced things of this module, even the advanced stuff from the Moon Dance are good to have. I don't have it because I didn't play the advanced most of the time. So yeah, this new module, the advanced dungeon, the gear difference is just minimal. If you look at the collection here, I'm sorry, getting sidetracked. The video is gonna get gonna be really long, but just to show you guys, the advanced version gives 12, the master gives 15, and 15 and 3.5, and this gives 12 and 3. So if you do the advanced, you're gonna be fine if you're using those, man. It's fine. The item level difference is only 200 as well, so not a big deal. You can go for the advanced gear. Artifacts, we're still using the Blast Scepter because it's the best debuff we can use. Demon Gargant is always good. Blades is always good as well. Good to have, good investment, guys. You can buy it for your whole account. Demon Gargant as well is one of the is the strongest debuff, but he has some prep time. And yeah, you can unbound it and use it on all your characters. So it's good to have, good investment. Using the Symbol of Water, the scintillating one, the new one, it's unbound, works for every character, and I'm using for the stamina regen. 15% is huge. We use the Merlin Mask to complete our debuff set for the neck, and the waist we're using the Merlin set for the debuffs. Gonna get 5% additional damage for a team. And yeah, If a DPS is using a melee, you can use any other one. The Apocalypse works with the Cleric because we do have some kind of fast attacks with the Cleric, and we can proc the Apocalypse just fine. And the Vistani works as well, and you get the debuff to proc. Same thing with the Grace. One hit, it's gonna proc the Grace ring. We're using the melee set because it's the highest item level, so we get that bump up in item level, and that increases our heals as well. Open rank to go above the cap with the heals because we're already capping the stats, so we invest in even more heals. If you need stats, you can drop any of those rings. You can drop the debuffs if you feel like it too, man. I don't recommend, but I would drop the open rank first. Yeah, if you need outgoing healing, you can go with the ones from the last module, the Brilliant Band of Xerxes, to give some outgoing healing. It stacks, everything stacks. This stacks with this, and it stacks with the chest piece as well. If you're using the Demon Web Pits, everything stacks, and it stacks with the Dominus as well. So it's easy to get some outgoing healing if you don't even have the outgoing healing companions. Dominus is a good pick as well, probably the best one after the open rank, mainly because it gives 5% outgoing healing in the effect, and it also gives a bunch of outgoing healing ratings, which outgoing healing ratings are so rare, guys, so rare. So it's good to have some extra ratings in some PCs. This is probably the second best, and after that, maybe this one. If you can afford to have the critical strike, probably gonna go over the critical strike ratings, but it's fine. There's a couple others you can use. Stuff from Dragon Hunts, they give 7% critical strike, which it's really useful in the cleric because it's really hard to get critical strike ratings. Not ratings, sorry, the percentages. So yeah, that's another thing you can use. We have another critical strike ring here for the Citadel. Yeah, that's from the Citadel, and yeah, we do have stuff from the MTOS as well, which is a similar ring. Yeah, a bunch of options, but if you're capping the stats, it's good to have the open ring here for going above the cap. Shirt wise, we're still using the ones from Moon Dancer because they are more reliable. If you need some item level, if you're fighting a single enemy like a boss fight that doesn't have any ads, you can definitely go with the one from the latest module. I think it was for Imperial Citadel. Yeah, it's the same thing, but yeah, it only works if you face only one enemy. So that's why I think it's more reliable to have those. But if you know you only face one enemy, you can go with this shirt, and it's gonna be better because the item level is higher. The new one that you get from I don't know if I have it here. I do. The new one is just the opposite of this one. It only works if you're facing a bunch of enemies, which I don't really like because we kill the ads and only the boss remains. So I don't really like it. If I have to pick it, I would choose this one over this one. But yeah, I'm keeping those for now because of the reliability, and we already passed the item level needed to play the content, so it's fine. We're using the new trousers for the critical strike, and if you don't have that, you can use the advanced one. The advanced one gives 4.5, guys, and so it's basically the same thing. And you can use all ones. I think this you can get it from the Seal vendor. Gives 5% power, 5% defense, so it's really good. Enchantment, we're using 2 garnets, 2 jades, and an opposite. We're using jade on the utility for outgoing healing. Defense, you can use whatever you like, whatever you have. We're using Devil's Precision for an additional critical strike, and the other overload spot is up to you. You can go with the White Dragon Glyph here to get some additional heals. You can use wards to do give some mitigation to your party members through your heals. I would only consider using those kind of wards that give this mitigation. Otherwise, the other wards, I don't know if I have any here, like draw ward, reduce the damage you take. You see, you don't share this effect with your friends, so I mean, if you don't have anything else, if you just want some protection, you can go for this, but otherwise, just don't use it at all, or just use other things. Maximum hit points, action points are good on a cleric because the cleric has some really strong dailies. So that's also a good option. So for combat enchantment, I'm using the Divine Aegis for those extra heals. We're going above the cap, so yeah, we're capping everything, so we can go above the cap with this enchantment. We're using movement speed for the additional mobility. You can always go action points as well. As I said, the cleric has some really strong dailies, so it's fine if you have that. You can go recharge speed as well. For boon, guys, we're using power, critical strike, power, critical severity. We're grabbing movement speed. We're grabbing the lingering effects, more power here. We grab anything else here that we need to proceed. Grabbing defense here, awareness, a couple HP. On the advanced boons, we need outgoing healing, the most important one. We go for forte after, action points, and then recharge speed, master boom, blast advantage, and blast resilience. You want those. One helps you out, helps the DPS, and the other helps. It's more the survivability thing for the tank and for the other players as well. For Guild Stronghold booms, I'm using power, defense, and revive sickness. And for companion guys, I'm using the Old Faithful, Portobello da Vinci, for those 3.5 power and 3.5 combat advantage. It helps me and it helps the DPS. I'm using a bunch of debuffs, so I need those stats. We actually don't really need it because the boon gives 6. I already have the Forger box as well because it gives more 3% power, so we are fine if you don't use it, but it's good to have for more stable power. The other option, guys, we do have Dritz, which always multiplies the damage of everyone. It's 3% multiplicative damage to the group, so it's good to have. Tutor, 5% combat advantage for everyone. We do have the Spy Devil. It increases the group's damage by 10%. We have the Scorpion here. The DPS nowadays is using this one, but back in the day, they didn't use. So it's a good option to have as well. Lion also gives some additional damage and additional survivability. We do have the new Flapjack, which gives 5% combat advantage as well. The Harper Bard, through this power, it gives 2% critical strike, 2% power. It's really cheap. The problem is that you're gonna have to upgrade for every single character you want this in. New Diana, the Acrobat, gives 10% movement speed to everybody, so it's good for those random queues when you want to do things fast. Really good. But usually I keep my Portobello one because it helps me out too. Equipment, we're using the new Gold Forte Outgoing Healing companion equipment. We can go with Outgoing Healing and Critical Strike if you need the ratings. And Enhancement, we use the Dual Senses to reduce enemies' awareness. You can go Armor Break, but usually the tank runs it. You can go Vulnerability, but this is weaker than Dual Senses. And you can go Slow Reactions to reduce deflection, but again, this is weaker than Dual Senses. Usually the tank runs the Armor Break and you run the Dual Senses. And in the trial, you speak with the supports, and we all use all 4 we have available. And yeah, if you have Portobello, this is also good for mitigation. It reduces the enemy combat advantage, and the boss always has combat advantage on you. So this reduces the enemy, the boss's damage to help out the tank if you need that. So for the companion bonuses, guys, I'm using the Raptor, using the Yeti for the outgoing healing, Voting Black outgoing healing, Font Instance give power and critical strike, and the Black Dragon give critical strike. Remember, always try to build up some options in your account, guys. I do have like stuff like the Alpha Compy that gives power. We do have the Deep Crow here that gives more power. We do have the Chemical Archer, which gives we have the Ghost here, power, critical strike. We do have the Chemical Archer here that gives power, critical severity. The Quickling that gives critical strike and outgoing healing. try to build up options, because again, you never know in which direction the next module is going to go. And yeah, man, the Pink Yeti is really cheap on the auction house right now. So if you don't have any outgoing healing companion, this is the time to buy the Pink Yeti, guys, because we do have a bunch of outgoing healing gear available, like the chest piece from Demon Weapons. We do have the helmet from the last 2 dungeons. We do have rings from the last 2 dungeons. We do have the shirts from the past 3 modules. So we do have a bunch of outgoing healing stuff. And the Yeti is really, really cheap. So try to buy that. It's really cheap. And build up options in your account. Yep. For the mounts, guys, we're using the same old stuff, but we do have some new options in this module. We do have the Pegasus, the Rex, Swarm, and the Eclipse. We got the new lock boss with the Bestial Fire. It's a debuff one. It's a really good 15% damage debuff. It's great. And we do also have the new dragon that came on the Protector Jubilee event. So any of those would be fine. Just try to have, if you're starting, try to have at least 2 so we can switch around in case you're using the same thing as the tank. For the equip power, Mystic Aura, Pack Tactics, and Runic Aura, guys. Gotta have those. As you saw, I'm capping everything using the debuffs. And I'm only using 2 consumables, guys, so it's really easy. So there's no excuse for you to run anything else here, unless you don't have anything, really don't have the mounts yet, and you're still leveling up. But if you're in the end game, try to have those, guys. Try to have those. Aim for those. So, guys, for the colors, we're using Critical Severity and Outgoing Healing. Those are the ones that matter. The rest is up to you. I do run with Rough AD to help me out with my daily stuff, and I use encounter powers just in case if I ever decide to build a DPS on my account. I have the best one here. At wills, I know I do damage with my at wills as a healer, but we don't actually do significant damage, so there's no point trying to go for at wills in a healer, man. You're better off thinking ahead, and if you ever decide to have a DPS, or the encounter powers will help you out in your daily stuff as well, in your campaigns. So yeah, that's why I have it here. And the other one is movement speed. It's good to have mobility. We're using Shepherd's Devotion for some additional movement speed and some buffs when I use my daily. Not a big deal, but it's good to have, and we do have the bonus for the Insignia here on this mount. Gladiator's Gruel to get even more movement speed, and it helps out with the stamina regen. Magistrate's Patience is the best one to have, and this gives teammates a little bit of a defensive boost whenever we do a critical healing on them. So it's always active, guys. Whenever it's not on cooldown, it's always active. It has some additional defense and critical avoidance. We do have Mentor's Covenant here to help out with healing ratings, which gives critical strike, critical severity, and outgoing healing and power. If you need more ratings, you can actually double on the Mentor's Covenant. You can use another one, but the effectiveness is going to be halved, so you only get 750 from the second one. You're using Lionheart's Perseverance here for some emergency heal in case it drop too low. You can definitely go with more Gladiator's Gruel if you want even more movement speed. It's always good to have movement speed. And you can definitely go with I think it's Survival Expertise to get some Forte. It helps out with regen, but you get some negative effects on the Reviveness sickness, on the Restoration sickness. Which means you're gonna lose even more HP when you die. So yeah, there's that. So for the power, guys, nothing has changed. I'm still using the Scattering Light to proc all the debuffs. Vistani, it works with the Vistani, Grace, Apocalypse, and the Merilith. If you're not using Grace, if you're not using Vistani, you can actually go Sacred Flame, because it's a little bit faster, so it's better to maintain the Merilith and the Apocalypse. But other than that, if you're using the Grace, just the Grace, like me, it only works with Scattering Light because it's the only AoE we have in the Atlas. Other than that, using Blasting Light to increase our heals, this goes above the cap, and it only works for the next heal. So yeah, only the initial heal of a Healing Word, only one hit of a Bastion of Health, only one intercession. And yeah, it has some gimmicks with Hallowed Ground as well. It doesn't go off with the Hallowed Ground, and increases the healing of the Hallowed Ground by 10. I'll show you. Just put it whenever you have the halo on your head. It doesn't go off, and it does increase your heals. For the encounters, we do have the Bastion Health. I normally run with the Divine Glow for extra regen. If you feel like you don't need it, if you do some easy content, you can just drop it and use whatever, like Intercession. You can use Exaltation for even more heals. This goes above the cap. Hopefully I can show you guys now, because we do have some new stats on the stats page. If I'm fast enough, I can show you. Let's see. Let's see. So overall going healing, you see, it went from, we lost 20 here. So we get 20 above the cap with Exaltation. In this dungeon, you need a cleanse in the second boss, so you have to use Cleansing Light. In the second boss, the others try to avoid the red AoEs, make everyone has to stay close to the boss to avoid the red AoEs and the dot. The Cleansing Light is AoE, but it has some kind of a animation. It's really, it's not the best to cast it, honestly. But yeah, it's what the cleric has, and it's AoE. And for the dailies, guys, we're using Hallowed Ground, of course. Whenever we need some mitigation and everybody's grouped up, you use that. And yeah, other than that, Guardian of Life, it has some insane heal over times, guys. You know that. And together with the Persistent Guardian feat, it stays up forever. So if you have really big action point games, we can have some really good uptimes with that, and it's gonna increase your heals a lot. So for the feats, guys, we're using Spended Faith for some additional divinity, and Hello Guide for some additional heal. It goes above the cap. It doesn't really show in the stats page because this is a conditional additional heal, so yeah, it's not gonna show in this new stat that I did with the same thing that I did with Exaltation there. It's not gonna show there. Other than that, guys, Overflowing Spirit, it's really good if you need the ongoing healing. If you're starting, this is wonderful. 25% increase ongoing healing is really good. And yeah, the Divinity Full is the conditional, and this is fine, guys. Well, I used to play like that. The play style is a little bit different. You have to cast it whenever you have your Divinity Full. It's really easy to do because your healing word snapshots your stats. So whenever you have your divinity up, you cast a healing word, and you use Divine Glow. And even before the healing word expires, your divinity is already full, so you can have the benefit of the perk again if you cast the healing word. So it's fine. It's fine. If you're starting, this is a really good, strong perk to have. You can use this perk together with Desperate Prayers, so they kind of balance it out. Whenever you full, you get 25, and then if you're not full, you get up to 20. So it's really good to have those perks on. But whenever you end game, if you have your outgoing healing caps, you're gonna want to move to those here to get some more divinity and additional heals above the cap. For our feats, you're using Repeated Blessings. Yeah, this adds 6 seconds whenever you do a heal on a person that's already with the healing word. So if I cast the healing word here, and I know everybody's gonna be grouped up, I don't have to cast another healing word. I cast another Bastion of Health. It's gonna add 6 seconds to it. You see, I'm gonna have like 14 now. I'm gonna cast another one here. We do have 16 again. You see, so yeah, it's always gonna get 6 seconds. And if you're using the Hallowed Ground as well, it's gonna stay up there entirely. It's not gonna go down until the Hallowed Ground expires, because the Hallowed Ground procs the Repeated Blessings. So it's another combo, really good combo. We're using Battle Prayer here for this really quick Light of Divinity cast. Again, it glows there, the R1, and yeah, you can cast it in 1 second. This is a really strong heal. You use it on the tank, of course. For feet here, we do have the Blessed Armaments. It doesn't really benefit the heals, but it gives you some mitigation for yourself whenever you're using Divine Glow. We're using Precision Guardian because it makes our Guardian of Life really strong. This does give some 3% damage buff, but the buff goes off whenever the heal triggers when we use Anointed Army, so I don't really like it. The last thief, we're using Engine of Life for, whenever you get too low, you can just cast the Engine of Life, and then it has some time of free casts. You can cast a bunch of Healing Word here, and you're not gonna use your divinity. Some people don't like using this last feat because they think it's gonna mess up the Light of Divinity. It's not gonna mess up the Light of Divinity. The only thing that changes here, guys, is that this casting time here gets a little bigger. The bar gets bigger, but you only need to hold the power here for where's Light of Divinity, 2.5 seconds to get the full benefit. You don't have to hold for the full 4 seconds to cast the Light of Divinity. You only have to hold it for 2.5 seconds, so it should be around here, right in the 3 dots, and you're gonna get the full heals from Light of Divinity, man. Don't worry about that. I can pick the last feat. And that's it for the build, guys. Again, not a lot has changed, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something, and yeah, try to help me out here. Leave a like, subscribe, and I see you guys around, man. If you have any questions, just leave it below, and I'll be gladly answering those. Take care, guys.